Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome back to Nursing Conversations.
Another day of nursing, having conversations.
It's been a minute. I think it's been like 2 months, probably.
It's been a while.
Busy stuff, which is why we were not able to do it sooner. But here we are. Yay. We have lots to talk about. So let me pause real quick. Se você tá chegando agora e nunca viu um episódio nosso de Nursing Conversations, a gente fala sobre temas da enfermagem em inglês. A proposta é ser algo curto, 30 minutos, uma conversa entre duas enfermeiras sobre a nossa experiência aqui. E aí por isso que vai ser em inglês, mas vocês podem interagir aí, deixar pergunta, qualquer coisa assim, a gente tenta responder na medida do possível. So now I'm gonna go back to English, okay? So welcome again, everyone. Thank you for those of you who left some suggestions for topics. We will definitely consider those for the next episodes. Today we're gonna talk a little bit about like expectations and like some of the differences in nursing in Brazil and in the US, and like where our expectations fall when it comes to the respect we expect from patients and colleagues and some of those things. So
a lot of things might, when you think about nursing in the United States, you think, okay, United States is a more economically stable country, so you got maybe better quality of life. All that is true. But then you got, okay, well then jobs are probably gonna be better. Yes and no. It's gonna be different. People are gonna be better there. It's not a yes to apply to all. I feel like there are scenarios and situations that, you might have had a really great team in a hospital in Brazil, and maybe in the US you didn't have such great colleagues. So I feel like there's a lot of expectations, thinking that everything in the USA will be 100% great, wonderful, perfect all the time. And that's just not true, because there is no place on earth that is 100% perfect. Human beings are all over, and our actions can sometimes be the same, independent of the country that you're in.
Yes, for sure. I think something that contributes a little to this building up of expectations of life in the US and nursing in the US is social media, because that's where we get a lot of our information from. So you get on Instagram and you see influencers, and I'm just not talking about just in nursing, but in general, life in the US, nursing in the US, and they portray something that sometimes is not attainable or even realistic. So that slowly, even if subconsciously, it starts to like build these little tiny expectations that build up, and then when you get here and you're like, wait, that's not what I saw on social media. And so I guess it's just like we all have to be careful with what we consume and consume responsibly, so that we're not like feeding ourselves to these unrealistic expectations.
Some people like to talk about how easy it is to, as soon as you get here, you can buy a house, a brand new house. You can buy a brand new car. You can go shopping, and while if you want to do that, you might be able to, but you might be also having the consequence of creating yourself a huge amount of debt. And if you want to do that, if that's the route, then good luck to you. I don't recommend that type of lifestyle. But then you get here and you say, oh, well, I can't exactly afford a brand new car, but why can that person do that? So it's just not to compare yourself and think, oh, I will have immediately loads of money, because it is general knowledge, right? If you tell someone you're going to be living in the United States or working in the United States, they assume that even before you work, you are rich.
Yeah.
And if you are already living here, even for a little bit, everyone in Brazil will think, oh, you're rich. You are, you know. And yes, your salary is a little bit more equivalent into if you were to convert, but you're also spending in dollars. You're not spending in another currency. So just pump the brakes and think about it before.
Yeah, it's expensive to live here. You can make money, but it's also, you spend a lot of money on everything. On things that you didn't even think you needed, especially after you buy a house. Like, there's so much to spend on.
Don't buy a house
the first year.
As soon as you get here, just don't buy a house. It's a lot of expenses.
I mean, not that you can, per se, because of credit score history and things like that, too. So, it's just complicated.
I just don't think it's the best thing.
Yeah. But back to the expectation thing. So let's talk about something that has been, it's recent. So we celebrated here Nurses Week last week, and we know in Brazil right now is Semana da Enfermagem. And I noticed a lot of people, and I did that too, came online to talk about, look what I got for Nurse Appreciation Week at work. So lots of Brazilian nurses showed, look, I got this gift, super cool things. I did a Reels talking about what Westway sent, a link so you could choose the gift, and that's all great and wonderful. And I think that when we talk about recognition, US versus Brazil, there's a huge difference, of course. In Brazil, unfortunately, we don't have a strong recognition culture for nurses. We don't. That's a fact. And that is one of the reasons why people want to leave in the first place and want to pursue nursing careers in the US, in Germany, in other places, because we get tired of just being stepped on as nurses, not getting paid, not getting, recognition. So I get that. And when we come to the US, yes, we do have a lot more recognition here. So the gifts are just an example. In Brazil, people might not get, someone joked saying, oh, bom bom, sonho de valsa or something, or uma caixa de bis to share with the whole team. Raise your hand if that was your case. And here you get actual gifts, whatever, even if it's just small little trinkets like, a mug or a keychain, whatever, things that you were not getting as a nurse in Brazil. And then, so if you're still in Brazil and you see all these people posting, oh, look at the gift that I got, and look at this and look at that, you're automatically expecting that for yourself. So that when you get to the US on your first Nurses Week, Nurse Appreciation Week, you're expecting a nice gift. But guess what? It's not 100% guaranteed that you will get the recognition that you are hoping for. Yeah. And that's what I want to talk about, is the expectations. Because if you, like, for instance, there's a famous nurse influencer, American, Blake, I'm sure many of you may know him or follow him. And during Nurses Appreciation Week, he posted, he would repost what nurses sent him of all these gifts, like quote unquote gifts that they got for Nurses Week, which were ridiculous. It was like Nurses Rock, and it was a rock written Nurses Rock, or like just saltine crackers, like enjoy Nurses Week,
or Lifesaver.
Lifesavers are like this hard candy. And he just kept saying, hey, send over the amazing gifts that you guys got. Some was like, we're doing Nurse Appreciation this week, pitch in with like $5 or $10.
I saw there was a coupon. You get half off of a muffin.
Oh my God, half off a muffin from like the hospital restaurant. What else? Did you see anything else crazy?
Oh, no, I don't remember anything right now, but just like, oh, you have a pizza, pizza party.
Yeah.
So you get pizza, which is a lot more than some people even in Brazil get.
Yes.
We do know that.
Yes.
But don't come expecting that you're going to be getting a car.
Yeah.
Or something.
So it's just like, I know a lot of us might think, oh, okay, these American nurses are just basically complaining with the full belly, if you get the translation. They don't know what that's like to actually not be recognized. But it's just perspective, right? Their perspective here is different than ours. To us, we're like, hey, that's pizza, that's great. That's more than what I got. Yeah. But to them, that's not quite the, awesome recognition that they expect as well. They also have expectations because they see other hospitals doing better for the nurses.
Or better yet, other professions.
Other professions getting more recognition. Other hospitals actually giving their nurses actual nice gifts. So the nurses, so just for you guys to have that in mind, like when you get here, your first nurses appreciation week, you might not get something awesome. You might get something small, and to you that might be better than what you were getting in Brazil. Great. Just align your expectations. Like, don't assume you're gonna get here and you're just gonna be living the dream, right?
Yeah. What was then? Talk about the worst, or I don't know if you have a worst, but the best gift that you got.
I mean, I guess this year, what Westways did, like sending a link and making me, allowing me to choose my gift, which I have not yet. I have not chosen yet.
Too many options.
Too many options. That's why I asked you guys, like, would you rather just get something or do you like this? Like, so, I don't know, but I like the possibilities of choosing. Yeah. So I'll let you guys know what I pick. Nice. What about you?
Well, it's funny because I was trying to think back, and there wasn't a lot of Mays that I was in, like a fixed place.
That's true.
2020 I was, in 2021 I wasn't, and then technically I was only 2022 because 2023. Oh no, I was in 2023. I just wasn't 2022. So I was only 2021.
Yeah.
And then 2023 at the end of this year. And then this year and last year were the same thing. It was just a gift card. And then 2020, just a gift card. And then 2021, I was in Austin. And I can't remember what I got, but I do remember I got something. I remember all the nurses got something.
Yeah.
I just can't remember if it was like a little perfume or maybe a mug. I can't remember what it was. I don't think it was anything I still have. Maybe it was just something to eat. Maybe they gave us lunch because I don't have anything. I can't remember what I got. So.
We've gotten Starbucks, I think, from Westways, like 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago.
Maybe that was 2020. Maybe that's what I got in 2020.
Yeah, it was like a Starbucks gift card. Yeah. It's like $25.
I don't remember how much.
Which was good. That's fine.
I went out for coffee.
Yeah. All well and fair and square. Yeah. So,
but I have gotten very good gifts, not from the facility I was at, but from the coworkers.
Right.
So, like, where I was at for 2 years, when I was about to leave the contract, the whole team got me a cake because it was also right around my birthday. Yeah. And they did like "You Saved Us," and it was like a nautical theme cake. And I was carrying the cake around.
That's so cool.
And I've gotten like for Christmas, they would give me like clothes, perfume.
Yeah.
So,
well,
the people, not the place.
Yes. The current place I work at, they gave me scrubs with with my name embroidered on it. So that was also nice. So moving on to a comparison topic still on like respect, right? And again, on the expectations thing, I saw someone commenting here on social media about their experience with just being disrespected at work by patients. And I think we assume that only happens in Brazil, right? That we get disrespect from patients. And that's not true. It happens here too. I see, accounts from nurses on social media that they get physical abuse, verbal abuse, they get yelled at, they get cussed at, they get things thrown at them. Don't even get me started on psych, because psych is a whole nother universe.
We are excluding psychiatry because they are mentally unstable. So you can't,
just regular
non-psychiatry.
Non-psych. But and then this nurse was talking about just getting like spat on and things thrown at her. And she was saying how this is this can happen here too. And it does, guys. It can and it does, unfortunately, because like Claudia said, we're dealing with humans. And although it's a different culture, we'd like to think that some things are better, and they are. Not everything is going to be. People are still people. Yeah. And there are chances that you can get that for sure, especially if you're working bedside nursing, that you're going to get disrespected and maybe even suffer some sort of mistreatment or abuse. I don't know. Did that ever happen to you? Did you ever feel disrespected by a patient when you were working bedside?
Well, my first week of training, but I can't blame it on her because she was suffering from dementia. But I didn't know that because I was training and no one told me, hey, it's okay. She has dementia. She punched me in the face.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I was like, no, where are you going, Mrs. Whatever?
She punched you?
And she was running away. And I said, no,
that
wait.
was your first week?
That was my first. I think it was my second
word.
day or something. And then she like got mad. And no one came, hey, it's okay. Like, it's okay. She has dementia. We have our protocols in place. No, they all let me go after her, run after her. And then
we were just like getting the popcorn.
They wanted to see me get hit. And then she punched me in the nose. And
ouch.
I was very distraught. Like, I'm getting hit.
Lord
on my first week. And
that's
then
crazy.
Also,
I remember that. We were training in the same place.
Yeah, they called you because they thought something was wrong.
Yeah.
And then in another place where I stayed for longer, a patient, I couldn't give him the medication because it hadn't been the time yet.
Mm-hmm.
And he started coming towards me like he was going to punch me.
Yes,
I remember
good.
But then a nurse friend got in front of me. She was bigger, she was taller, and she got in front of me. And I was like, so, crisis averted. He did not punch me.
Good. Something similar happened to me. So, disrespect towards me, not directly. I've witnessed disrespect towards other coworkers that I think came from like a racist background. So I remember two quickly. One was a patient himself. He started talking bad about the previous nurse. It was at the same facility that you're talking about.
And you knew who it was?
I knew who he was talking about, and he just kept. And he said he used, like, I'm not gonna quote exactly what he said, but he said like a bad word and said those bleep. Like Middle Eastern, something like that. So he literally flagged like her, ethnicity, like, or where she's from. And I felt that. I was like, well, that's not nice. I mean, you shouldn't be just, just, that was kind of racist. And then another time, also this guy, he was not understanding what my colleague was telling him. We were both at the nurse's station, and he, granted, she had a thick accent, but she was speaking as clearly as she could, and he was just losing his patience, and he started directing the questions to me and just kind of like being rude to her right in front of me. It was like a weird situation. But talking about physical danger, one time, and this was in detox, I was pregnant, and I was the patient, I was like admitting him, so I was kind of, I don't know, maybe a couple feet away from him, and he started getting really just antsy and violent. He just started like.
But he had a history of drug usage.
He was probably high at that time or drunk, I don't remember, but he was under the influence right then and there, and he started like just doing this with his hands and his fist. And he started like getting up, and it looked like he was gonna come at me, and I was pregnant. Yeah. And then I was kind of not really getting the situation. And then the colleague I was working with, he was like a tech. He was like doing meds for us. He got in the middle, kind of like what you just said. So he got in the middle, and he started kind of like pushing me to the side, and that's when I was like, oh, I might be in danger. And then he started kind of like calming the guy down, and then he presented him out. And then it was funny because after all that happened, I was like, thank you. And he said, you grew up somewhere nice, right? Or something like that. He was like, you don't seem like you've been in these situations before. I was like, not really.
Not really. No. I felt disrespect by family of the patient.
Yeah.
There was a specific patient. Of course, it was a place that was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
the place that shall not be named.
That shall be named. I was in this facility for a while, and I worked the evening shift, so that was like 2 to 11, and the family loves to come at 9 p.m. And I said, ma'am, there is no one here. Ma'am, there's no one here from management. I can't give you the answers you need. She wanted to talk to the doctor. I said, good luck trying to talk to the doctor at 9 o'clock at night. And it was just a day after day, and I just had to keep telling them the same answer, because I was there 5 times a week. And I told management. I said, someone needs to stay here, or someone needs to reach out to them and say, hey, come this date, this time, because, and they were just very disrespectful. They were very rude. I probably erased from my memory some of the things that they said. Because I remember just feeling this awful feeling every time I saw them. Like, oh crap, the family's here again. The daughter's here again. They're going to yell at me. They're going to make me feel terrible because I don't know anything. And what they wanted to know, I couldn't tell them. They wanted to know discharge plans and orders. And I'm like, I can't give you orders. I can only give you what the doctor entered into the system. And this is what the doctor has. And it was very disrespectful. But I've been also disrespected by colleagues. If you want to know. I got a story. Yes. And this was sadly by a nurse practitioner. I told you about this.
Yeah. What, over the phone?
No. That was a different doctor.
I got the stories. How much time do we have?
No, but this was in person. She was the nurse practitioner of the facility, and she had a group of doctors that were in training. I don't know what they were doing, but they were there to learn. And apparently they thought that they had some power over the poor nurses. So this also does happen here. There are doctors who think that they can tell you what to do. And he just kept it wasn't even the nurse practitioner, it was the student doctor. I don't know what he was probably doing residency. And he just kept on, hey, I need the vitals. And I said, okay, sir. And that was probably noon. So it was mid-shift. Vitals are gotten 8 o'clock in the morning, and then the CNAs would get at the end of the shift or something. They wouldn't get just random vitals at random time. They had baths and change and transfers and meals. It's vitals are not right now.
Yeah.
And he asked me twice, and I was dealing with admissions, I was dealing with discharges, you know how it is, and it was day, so thank God there was a lot of people there, but it wasn't I could spare a minute. And he just kept on telling me, get the vitals, get the vitals, get the vitals. And then there was a moment I said, sir, the vital machine is right there if you want to go get it. And he thought that was so rude. And he went to tell the nurse practitioner. So, meaning she was a nurse one day. She knew what it is to be on the shift.
Yeah. No, but they forget.
And then she came. Oh, man. She was just so cynical. She hugged me. She goes, let me talk to you. And she made me apologize. I don't even remember what I did. I don't remember how it ended. But she just came so
no, honey. No. You don't do that, honey.
She just came. It was terrible. She just gave me a hard time for telling this doctor. For me telling the doctor that I didn't have time to do what they wanted me. And I think I just told the CNA, can you please get the vitals for this person. And the CNA was kind enough to go do it.
And you might wonder why couldn't she stop what she was doing to get the vitals? Because she had 55,000 other things to do because she was alone on the floor in a very busy floor.
Mornings are busy.
It's she was behind on probably med pass and pick lines and all kinds of stuff that she's I can't stop to get vitals right this second. If you can't use the ones that have already been entered in the system, or if you can't do it yourself, or if you can't wait till the end of the shift, don't bother me, right? So
yeah, it was morning. If you work mornings, if you work days, then you know that day shifts, you do a lot. You have a lot of help. You have management there, but you also have a lot. You have transfers, you have admissions, you have discharge, you have physical therapy coming to get your patient. All
treatments and orders are for the daytime.
Physical therapy wants to know where your patient is, and then you got the meal, and then you got other consults, and then you got family, and then you got management, and then you got falls, and then it's just a lot for you.
Do you miss it? No. Okay. Back to you, Clay.
Yeah. So yeah, those are the times I've been disrespected. There probably have been others, but I probably blocked those.
So this is just, you guys, just to wrap it up. Just again, expectations, right? Don't assume that you are going to just have the red carpet, for you to walk on when you get here, that everyone's going to just be like, thank you, you're the hero, thank you, here you go, $50,000, here you go. It's not going to happen.
That might have been the case in 2020.
Yeah. I think some people are missing that fact that, what happened? 2020 was a different time. Pandemic was a different time.
Thank you to our heroes. Nurses were heroes. Oh. The healthcare professionals were we're in KA. You would get a thank you, all the time. But it's
not just that. The pay was different. The need was different. Now it's yes, they still need nurses, but it's not
the
like
same.
the pandemic and the pay. You know, even for travel nurses, I heard someone talk about that the other day. Like, travel nurses are not getting the same kind of pay they used to in the pandemic. No, because it's just not that much of a need, you know? Not the same as in the pandemic. And so don't expect that you're going to come here and you're going to be 100% respected, 100% recognized, 100% like praised. You're not because you're going to be dealing with humans. You're probably going to go through some, you know, if not disrespect, some shade or some like cold shoulder, whether from a colleague or from a patient or a family. You're going to be dealing with humans. And then, you know, don't expect a million, you know, flowers and chocolate and all kind
and this is
standard
not to,
treatment.
It's not to like dismotivate anybody or give you guys like a, you know, like a really shocking shock treatment. It's basically to prepare that you might have some situations where you know, you have to kind of breathe, or, you know, if you want to go home and cry, but, you know, there might be situations that are less than ideal. And I mean, I thought that I would have an easier time, maybe not with so much with cultural barriers, but maybe, you know, but I had situations from nurses from my own agency who refused to help me. And I thought, well, you know, we're from the same agency, we're from the same boat.
Yeah.
Why don't you want to help? Why aren't we friends? And that can happen. Or there can be situations where, you know, you get some sort of different treatment because you're from a different country, or maybe because your accent's different. It can happen.
Yeah.
Depends on the state and city you go to, right?
Yeah. The friend situation happened to, just a quick little one. It happened to me. I think it was like my second shift in a random facility, and I was so late. Like I got it all wrong. I got the med pass wrong. The hall I was in was very med heavy, and I got it all wrong. Like I was passing meds, like noon meds, like at the end of the shift. It was horrible. It was a mess. I was super late to the point that the oncoming night shift nurse got there. I was still passing like the afternoon meds or something. It was bad. And I remember, and he was an agency nurse like myself, and I remember asking him like, hey, I wanted just like a, I guess, validation or like a light at the end. I was like, is this, you know, how it's supposed to be? Like, I don't know what I'm, and he's like, no, it's fine. Like, I don't know, I don't remember what he said, but he just kind of brushed it off. It made me feel like I was the crazy one. And whenever I was finally done and I went to the nurse's station, and then it was a staff nurse. It was this American nurse, and I remember talking to him about how like I was drowning, and that's why it was so late in the day, and I was leaving so late. And I remember him saying, he's like, yeah, you got a really med heavy hall. I was like, I'm no kidding. And then he said, listen, if you're not overwhelmed, you're not doing it right. And I remember thinking that, I was like, it actually gave me the validation I was looking for, because I was overwhelmed. And I was like, okay, it must mean I'm doing something right.
No, not at all.
I don't want to do this, but I guess I got the validation I was looking for. But at the same time, a little bit scared there. Like
I had the opposite. This nurse that I had already been working for probably about 8 months, and I met this nurse from the same agency, and she had just started. So I was a little bit after, she had no experience. I already had maybe 8 months of experience. And I remember her turning to me, and she was just like, "Do you feel like you don't know what to do?" Like it wasn't like just a sarcastic comment. It was an actual I felt like sadness in her voice. Like, do you feel like you're always confused and you're always lost? And I just felt so bad for her. And I was like,
did you tell her like, no, I'm the best? No, but
I probably told her like it gets better.
Yeah,
like. Nah, I probably thought, like, I wish I could talk to you. I wish we could have, like, a nice chat, but I can't. I got other things to do. So I think I just told her, like, it gets better.
Yeah.
And it does. It does get better.
It does.
But there are expectations that you have to kind of think before starting your journey here. That it might not be exactly what you're expecting. It might be a little bit different. It might be a little bit the same in Brazil. But, it's all about perspective.
Yeah, exactly. And you might have, like, of course you will have completely different experiences than what we had.
Oh, yeah.
and you might find most things like all good. Like, this is good. You might. I've heard from nurses who had a ton of experience in Brazil, and when they got here, they're like, I mean, yes, I guess they struggle maybe a little bit with the English here and there, but you know, nursing work.
Or some people are just really blessed and say, I had a wonderful time, I had a wonderful hospital, I had wonderful colleagues, I had
lots of training and
It was great. So, I mean, that could be you. And if that's you, then awesome. Then, you know, we're happy for you because then that means you had less issues to go through, less trauma. But
all right, guys, that's all we have time for. This will be saved so you can go back and listen if you want to practice some more of your listening skills. If you have any comments or questions, you can always leave it in the comment section. And don't forget to DM us with some, or go answer the question with ideas for things for next Nursing Conversations episode, which will be hopefully next month. That's the plan. So thanks for hanging out with us. And I hope if you're in Brazil, I hope you have had a great nurse this week, and I hope you got something. And yeah.
Thanks, guys.
See you later.
You guys have a great week.